How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good, excited to be here. So as she said, my name's Destiny Cobb. I am an adolescent health specialist for our district. So what that means is I go into a lot of our local schools and I provide education that basically fits the needs of their meeting. So if they say we need vaping, we need bullying, we need sexual health, we need teen pregnancy prevention, just anything they say, I normally have a curriculum or a presentation to meet those needs. So it's a lot of fun. I love what I do. And we're gonna get started. Thank you all for being here. I know some people just came in, which is great. If you haven't grabbed two prompts from this table, at least two, if you want to grab more than that, you can. I want you to read over these prompts while you're standing here. And however your parents or guardians kind of spoke to you, if they ever said any of these things growing up, I want you to take those. If it's a bad thing, because some of these are bad, we're not reading them out loud. Okay, you're not going to have to read what you put on your card out loud. I'm just going to have a conversation about it in general, if that makes sense. So if you haven't already picked, please come up here and pick at least three of those. I'm starting off with a, what's it called? An activity. Yeah. Try to pick at least two, but three would be great since there's a lot left. The little pockets, yellow pocket keychains, those are yours to keep. So feel free to keep that fidget toy and fidget as I'm talking because that helps some people. And then also the let's talk conversation, that's some of the stuff we're going to be going over today, so you can take that form as well. Get the vibes going. That's what I do for my teenagers. They really appreciate it. They love walking into music that automatically makes me fun. I don't know why. I make it appropriate. I have Pandora. It will be. Normally I play country, which upsets some kids don't love it. I do songs for the kids, and I listen to it in my office. Right, make sure. And if it's appropriate, I'll play their songs. And it's sometimes they don't love T Swift like me. Or like Morgan Wallen, they're like, we're not about this. Why are you playing this? So I do take their requests, and I want everybody to feel included. That's a good idea. Yeah. We'll get started because I see everybody grabbed it. So thank you guys for doing that. These are actually some of the messages that kids or teenagers hear when they're growing up. So even if it's not a message you pick on the table, these are some of the messages that sometimes people hear like as children or as teenagers. So I basically asked you guys to select some of them. So I just want you to look back over the cards that you selected and let's kind of talk about it. On the card that you selected, if anybody will answer for me, how did it make you feel as you were going through your cards?
I remember them saying that to me.
Yeah, so really, was what you picked a little bit negative or positive?
I have one of each.
Okay, one of each. So when we talk about the positives, how does that make us feel?
Really good.
Thankful. Thankful, good, makes us feel good about ourselves.
Well, it depends.
Yeah?
Yeah, because the positive one that I have is a manipulation tactic.
Yeah, and that could also make us feel bad, right? I absolutely agree with that. I was lucky. I was raised by really supportive parents, and I heard a lot growing up. I'm so proud of you. I mean, it didn't matter what I more like won the cakewalk at school, and my dad's like, "I'm so proud of you." Thanks, Dad. Like, that sort of thing. I mean, it always made me feel like really good. But a lot of the teens that I work with, that isn't always the case. A lot of you in that room, that isn't always the case, right? So for people that maybe take some more that negative side, how did that make you guys feel?
Kind of sucks.
It sucks, yeah, right? You don't have to do that with your own kid. Yeah, it kind of makes it's also a learning opportunity. Like, man, I heard this, growing up, and I want to make sure my kid like never experiences that, right? Not saying we're gonna be the perfect parent, you know, as a parent, I look back and think of things I do all the time, maybe that I like could have done better. But it's obviously not what this is saying. Anybody else want to share how, like, what they put or how they've made them feel?
One that I got was said, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah.
I remember my mom saying that, and I think I have said that once.
Yeah.
Uh,
Understand, and a lot of people said it, right? But also think about how dramatic that could also be. Just because we've always said it or always heard people say it, really is that the message you're really at the end of the day wanting to send to your child. It's not. And I'm not saying, I know people will be like, teens are so sensitive, right? And I do get that. But I also think that some of the messages we provide like actually do hurt them.
yeah.
Or maybe they help them. Anytime I go and do something and I mess up, like I can always hear my dad in the back of my mind saying, like, I'm so proud of you. Like you did it, you were nervous, I'm so proud of you, right? So it's something like I always carry with me. And so I know it feels like, who has teenagers in here? Yeah. How does it feel? Does it feel like they're listening to you? No. Yeah, get like, I love my kids, but teenagers are hard, right? They're hard. They're shutting themselves in a room. They don't want to listen. They know everything. You don't know nothing. It's really where they try to pull away and that need for independence comes, right? You're no longer needed. I know everything, right? And that's hard on us as parents because you're like, you don't know everything because I didn't teach you everything. You haven't been with me your whole life, right? So just think about the messages we give our children. That's the point of this activity. Whether it be in relation to sexual health, healthy relationships, bullying, vaping, what messages are we providing our children with? If we're not providing those messages, and we're going to talk about it in this presentation, where are they getting those messages from? Where are they getting their information from? Having conversations with teens can be difficult. It can feel difficult. It can feel embarrassing. I never want to place blame on parents because people will be like, why aren't parents talking to their kid about it? Most of the time, parents weren't talked to about it. They don't know how to talk to their kids about it. They're not educated on these topics. They didn't go to school for it like I did. They haven't had a million trainings, right? So they're really doing the best they can with what they have. Most people have good intentions for raising their youth. So let's kind of get into the presentation and let's talk about it. The biggest thing, which is kind of what I talked about, is just staying informed. What do you guys think staying informed means when we're talking about your kids?
What's going
on with them, staying up with, staying up with their thing.
Yeah, staying up with it, knowing what's going on. A lot of teenagers use social media. They love it, right? TikTok, Instagram. There's a new one. I don't know if new, but Discord was the last one I got when I was in the classroom. I had to ask them, like, what is Discord?
Yeah.
Like, I have no clue what that is. What is that? And they basically said it was like where they could go on, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because this is just coming from a teen last week. But they basically said it was like a gaming thing where they went on to play games, but it's essentially an open chat room with people they may not know. So kind of like what we had, but it's an open chat room. So as a parent, I would want to stay informed and I would want to know what Discord is because am I going to ban my child from it if they love playing games? Maybe not. And maybe I would. I'm not here to tell you your values as a parent or your beliefs because those are yours. But I am here to tell you to know what it is. So when you have those conversations, you can say, I'm banning this and here's why. It's my job to keep you safe. My number one priority as a parent is to keep you safe. Or I'm not banning it, but I only want you to add your friends. And I want you to take your location off. And I will be checking it. Does that make sense? So kind of just knowing about it. It's never telling you, I would never come up here and tell you your kid doesn't need to have this. Your kid doesn't need to do this. Right? Because those are your values. You guys are the experts in what you want your kids to do. But I do want to tell you, I want you guys to be educated on what they're doing, being informed. This probably won't come as a shock to you guys, but when I'm in the classroom, I say, I do a lot of sexual health, and I say, raise your hand if someone's talked to you about these topics. Do you think a lot of kids raise their hands?
No.
No. I do have some, and some of them will say their parents have, but most kids are saying they're not hearing about these topics. And I said, but do you know about these topics? But if you're not hearing about them from your parent, You're not hearing about them from your church. Where are you getting this information? Because you just listed 5 of the Tennessees, whatever. I'm not giving no actual information, but whatever. So where are you getting it from? Where do you think they're telling you they're getting it from? Social media, TikTok, their friends, they're Googling it. A little while back, on TikTok, they were opening pregnancy tests. And these are at our local schools. There's a little moisture strip in there that looks like a circle. It looks like a Plan B pill kind of. And that's what they were taking as a Plan B pill because they saw on TikTok. No. Yeah. Uh-huh. And I know that information because I asked them. We have conversations about that kind of stuff. So just know where your own child or whoever child you're like, know where they're getting their information. Just ask them. Like, hey, this is a topic we haven't ever covered. I just want to know, do you know anything about this? Oh, you do? Where did you hear it from? Where did you get the information from? I always tell the youth, I ask them if they play the game of telephone, and they're like, yeah. And I was like, well, what happens? And they're like, by the time it gets to the last person, the message is wrong. Yeah, and that's sometimes what happens when it comes to like our healthcare information or sexual health or bullying, right? By the time it gets to that last person, you're not getting correct. So it's not that your friend, because they're like, my friend is my best friend, and they would never do anything to harm me. And it's not that their friend is doing it intentional, but sometimes messages get distorted, or maybe the messages are found missed. Right? Maybe their parents are telling them that you was something you wouldn't agree with for your kid to do. Right? So basically someone else is putting their values on your child. Not purposely, but if you're not having those conversations, they're getting it from somewhere. Any questions on any of that so far? Am I talking too fast? I talk fast as a person in general. And then when I get a little bit nervous, guess what I do? I talk faster. So every evaluation, people put slow down. I'm trying to do that. Research for yourself what you think they want to know so you can be prepared to answer their questions. Okay. On that one, you don't have to know everything, right? Do the best you can. Try to look up things you think they might be talking about. Try to be educated. Be educated with what apps they're using. I recently had a conversation, with a friend, and we looked up an app called the Park app. Have you guys heard of that one? So you can actually put it on your phone. It's a paid-for app, and it will send you an alert if your child is having any indecent things sent to them, if they're looking up any indecent things, anything like that. It's going to send an alert to your phone. So it's not saying, hey, you can't have these apps. Because the problem is they're getting access to the apps, whether we provide them with them or not. They've got it on there. I had a kid the other day, he's a freshman, he said, my mom doesn't let me have a phone, but I got it on my Chromebook from school. I'm like, yeah, Snapchat has been blocked. Yeah, well, even you, we're good at this. So they're having access to it. So just keep in mind that kind of stuff. Talk often. It's never too early to have these conversations, and this is a big one that I talk about a lot. Am I telling you to talk to your young child about things you don't want to talk to them about? No, right? I'm just telling you to have any kind of conversation with your young child. Because if you wait until they're a teenager and you're like, hey, how was your day? Want to talk about sex? And talk to that. So just making sure you're really building rapport with your youth. Okay, making that connection from the time they're little. Okay. Have age appropriate conversations. So I tell people always look up age appropriate things, right? That you feel are age appropriate. You never want to start with something that is just way over their head or way lower, right? So just that's something you as a parent can take in your own hands and kind of look up. And then as they grow older, inform them about safe sex to prevent unplanned pregnancy and STIs. Do y'all want to know the number one question I get when I say that?
What's the STI?
Yeah, I get that. Right? It's sexually transmitted infection. And I also get, at what age do we talk to them about this? Okay, what age do I talk to my child about this? Anybody tell them? I'm not the expert. You're the expert with your child. What do your values say? What do your beliefs say? Right? I would recommend, based on research, that it's before you feel like the activities are going to happen. But how do you really know when that is as a parent?
I was telling her, we made the decision to talk to both of our kids in fourth grade when they both hit fourth grade because they were going into the locker room at that point at school with kids that were 2 years older that knew stuff and they were going to learn it from other people. Right? And we wanted them to learn it from us. So depending, I would say to someone, I would say it's dependent on you and what you think your child's maturity level is
Yeah.
and what they're exposed to.
And that's what I love, like, for everybody to kind of make their own decision, right, on that, based off of those things.
We didn't have social media back in the day
Yeah.
when I was in school, but I learned it on the school bus from 12th graders when I was in 5th grade.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I hear from parents is like, if I talk to them about it, that means I'm giving them permission to do it. To do these behaviors that I don't want them to do and I don't agree with them doing it. End of story. I don't agree with them doing them. And I'm like, no, you're just educating them on why not to do these things. Like, you're just proving a point, right? You're just providing them with education. So when they get in a situation, because at some point in their life, whether they're 30 and married or whether they're 15 and at a party, they might be in a situation where they have to make a decision, and that decision might be educated or it might be uneducated, and it's you to decide whether it's educated or uneducated, right? So just remember to talk to them about these things. There's a thing that says teens actually want their parents to talk with them about love, sex, and healthy relationships. I know that sounds wrong and crazy, but when I do talk to youth, they do say, like, for you guys, it's taboo to talk to us about this. But for us, it's conversations we're having. We wouldn't mind if our parents said something to us about it. I mean, would we be awkward? Yeah. Do they get red faced when I'm standing up there talking to them? Oh yeah, they're like, did that just come out of her or something? Did she say sex? They're like, she's getting fired. She's not gonna be allowed. They like, and I'm like, yeah, because we want you to be educated, right? I'm not ever putting values or beliefs or opinions or anything in my decisions. I just want you to be educated and make a good decision that you feel is right for yourself. So teens actually do want their parents talking about healthy relationships and sex. And you guys did that activity. Why do you guys think we did that activity? To show the words you say matter, right? They are listening to you. They do stick with you. Are they embarrassing sometimes? Are they hard sometimes? Does the kid always agree with it? No, but do they actually learn something from it? Yes. I was a youth now quite a while back because I graduated high school in 2008 and can still remember some of these conversations we had, like, in the back of my mind. I'm sure I wasn't like the perfect kid that was like, yeah, mom and dad, tell me more. I love these conversations. But somewhere it stuck with me. And then a lot of adults will say, oh, my parents did not have these conversations and I wish they would have. Because I didn't know this information looking back. Like, they just gave me nothing and I had to develop all of this on my own. Or I get a lot of times they handed me a book and had me read it. And I think read it. Remember, I'm teaching you all. Not like read it. But they handed me a book. Am I saying the book is bad? No. There's actually an American Girl doll book that a lot of people like and use. I've never read it, so I'm not recommending it, but a lot of people love it. And I think with follow-up questions, a book can be great, right? But also having that conversation. Any questions so far? Be an affable parent, having open communication with young people in your life, let them know they can come to you with any problems that they're facing. I think the biggest thing when I ask teens why they don't want to have the conversation, they're worried about judgment. Like, my mom or dad shut down the conversation. Automatically, they're going to be like, you're grounded. Why are you asking about birth control? Why are you asking about sex? We don't believe in that. End of story, shut down. Do you think that teen comes to them for anything else? No. If someone shuts you down right when you come to them, are you ever going to go back? Not likely, right? So be judgment free. Do we have values and beliefs we want our kids to have? In this room, do you guys have values and beliefs you want your kids to have? Of course. Is it okay to tell them what those values and beliefs are, what our expectations are? Yes. Absolutely. I hope you would, right? But is it okay for them to maybe tell you a belief that they have that might be different than yours? Yeah. It's okay for them to tell you. And that's where you can say, I understand this is your belief, right? And I think it's important for you to have beliefs. And I'm glad you talked about this hard topic. But in our home, this is what I'd like you to believe. And these are our values. And this is why. Right? Just having those conversations. Be a trusted adult. Like I said, respect their values and beliefs and share your own throughout these conversations. So hear theirs. If you're not, what do we want to do? We want people to what? When we're having a conversation.
Agree with that.
Yeah, listen, agree with that. That's great. Like what I say, right, in the story.
That's what.
Yeah, I need to listen to us, right? We want them to at least listen to us. So let's listen to them, let them share their values, don't shut it right down, and then start instilling some of ours, right? Which we should be doing throughout kind of their whole life, what we want them to believe. Okay, so here's some tips. So this kind of gets into it, which is kind of some of the stuff you'll see on the conversation tips. They initiate the discussion. That's always the hardest part for parents. They're like, oh, when do we talk about it? I don't know there's ever a perfect time. I'm telling you, their faces get beet red when I first come into school. I normally go into the classroom, which is what's really cool. I don't just stand up here and show them. I don't know what y'all sex ed was, but mine was, I had a PowerPoint with gross pictures on the thing. All I can remember seeing was like body parts. Like, I don't know that I learned it. I was mortified. I'm like, they just showed this body part on TV and I can't with them anymore. Right? So I don't do that. I actually go into the classroom and I go like once a week for 10 weeks, depending on the curriculum. So what do you think by lesson 3? Do you think I have the same students that I had when I first started at lesson 1?
No.
I mean, I had the same students, but do you think they respond the same to me? No, they get used to it. Right? I always think it's funny. One of the lessons I do now, this is a sexual health lesson. At the beginning, we talk about how STDs are spread and things like that, and they cannot say the words. They're like, they can't say anything. They can't say the STD word. They can't say sex. They can't say like nothing. Abstinence. They can't say any of it. By lesson 2, we play a basketball game where if they answer the questions of the lesson about HIV that I give them, then they get to shoot the basketball. Like it's fun. They get points for their team. Y'all think them kids say those questions? All of a sudden, they're comfortable. So that brings me to say there is a time to initiate the discussion that's going to make them more comfortable. What I would recommend, without their phone, without siblings. Does anybody want to talk about this with their sibling there? No, it's really embarrassing, and now you just put me on blast in front of my 7th grade brother. It's gross, right? I normally suggest try talking while walking the dog, cooking, riding the car, whatever feels best for you and your family. These are just suggestions. My mom would corner me in the car. Like, you can't get out. I didn't have a phone back then, so I wasn't really distracted. So you may have to say, depending on whatever your family rules are, like, hey, can you put your phone down? I do want to have a phone conversation with you. Or however it works for you, because they're going to lose it when you tell them to put their phone down. Okay? Hey, I've been going to the schools, this is off subject, and y'all know phones are banned, right?
Yeah.
They talk to each other. The students talk to each other and talk to me. I'm all for phones. I love them. I know the students love them. I'm not bashing them, but like they're having really good conversations with each other. And it was nice to see because when they had their little phones, they were all sitting at their little desk with their little phones. So have them put their phones down if you can. This is another great tip that I learned a lot on, but sometimes when you sit down and like, okay, put your phone down. We're gonna have a conversation about the birds and the bees. Checked out. Done. Embarrassed. Don't want to have it. But if you're sitting there and you're watching a popular show, I don't know, The Summer I Turned Pretty, Sex Education, whatever your kids are watching, even if you're not letting them watch things with like a lot of like sexual health, but just relationships. Did you see how he treated her? How would you feel if somebody treated you like that? That's starting a conversation right there. Did you hear that song? It talked about beating up whoever his girlfriend and then telling her he was sorry and he loved her and she went back to him. What do you think about that? Is that okay to do that to people? Like I know you're listening to the music and I'm not gonna be able to ban any song, but I just want to get your opinion on it because that feels really harsh. What are your thoughts on that? Right? And then hopefully they say like, oh, that's not okay. It's just a song. And you can say, yeah, in our home, we would never do that or whatever. In our home, this is what we value and kind of just get to those conversations. You can also use music, songs, TV, anything they're doing. Oh, the song said this. What do you know about that? Because if I say, yeah.
I was gonna say, the conversation got open in my house when we were watching Family Feud of all things. And a question came up, and then my son said, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, what do you know about it?"
I love that.
Oh,
And so because I didn't want to give him too much information, I wanted to know what he knew, and then I could feed off of that.
Yeah.
So that's how the conversation got
Yeah.
opened up in my.
And it should always be open-ended. Like if you say, do you know about this? Yes. Okay, well, you just shut me down for the 13th time. Okay, I'm gonna go cook dinner now, thanks. you know? So just really those open-ended questions, and that's what I get from a lot of parents. I don't let my kids watch that. My kids don't have phones. I don't let them watch anything sexual. They don't listen to sexual songs, and that's great, right? That's great. If that's what they do, that's great. Family Feud. Something came up in Family Feud. It is all around us. I'm not saying let your kids watch The Summer I Turned Pretty, right? I'm just saying think about those opportunities that you have to make the conversation less like, let's sit down and talk about sex. If that's your way you can do it and your kid responds to that, please do it. But there's also other ways. Empathize with your young person. I think this is the biggest thing. A lot of times I'll go in a classroom and if the teacher's a little more old school, they're like, you will not talk while she's here. You will not laugh. You guys are mature adults and she's gonna talk to you and you're gonna sit here and listen. Oh gosh, no, I have to recover from that, right? I sometimes say like, hey guys, I know this information's uncomfortable. Sometimes it can make everybody feel a little uncomfortable. And that's okay. Sometimes you may need to feel the need to laugh. And that's okay, as long as we're not laughing or at other people, disrupting the classroom. I get that these topics are embarrassing and you don't hear them a lot. But I'm here to educate you so you can make educated decisions.
Right, they're gonna laugh during the puberty videos, so always tell them.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
They giggle a little bit.
Yeah,
and
it is
we'll talk about it,
awkward.
right?
Especially if they're younger, and for some of them, it's definitely their first time with like an adult teaching them these subjects, right? So just be honest, create a supportive environment. We kind of talked about that one, but listen without judging. Your teens want independence. They think they know everything. Did I say you have to agree with them? No, at least listen and get their viewpoint, right? Answer what is asked, not what you think is asked, which is exactly what you just said. For instance, if your child asks if birth control is dangerous, ask what they have heard or what they already know to get more information about what they are asking. Right? What do you know about that? Because you may be doing they may be mortified. They may be asking a simple question and you've done told them, I don't know what you've done told them, but no, then they're like shocked because they were like, oh, I just, my friend had it and it was just a pill packet. And now you even told me they're going to cut my arm open and stick like a rod in there or something like, you just gave a little bit too much information from what they were asking, right? Don't assume they are asking because they want to use birth control. I think that's parents, a lot of times a mistake that can be made is, parents care about their kids' safety. Right? And so sometimes we're not perfect and when we hear something we don't want to hear, we come unglued. Why are you asking that? Are you having sex? You're grounded for life. You need to tell me, right? All these things. And do we do as we mean to our poor little teenager? We do it because we love them and we care about them. But let's not assume. Let's just think maybe they saw it in their friend's purse and it was just simply a question. Like maybe they're not trying to go to the health department tomorrow and get something. Right? We don't have to assume that. Discussing risky situations before they happen, allow the opportunity to talk, for risk reduction or avoidance and think through safe ways. Research has proven when you talk to your youth, they're more likely to weigh the risks and pros and cons beforehand when you've had those conversations. What that means is a lot of times in one of my programs, I talk to youth about like peer pressure, and their friends pressuring them, and we go through scenarios of how to say no. Right? It may seem simple to us, but do you think when they get in that pressure situation, it's always really easy for them to say no? No, especially not when they're in middle school, they want to be liked. They care about being popular, right? They want to do what everybody else is doing. So at that point, they can say, you know, I don't have to think about this right now. Like I already know how to say no. We've already went over it. My parents already talked to me about it. I have a reason. And a lot of times we'll tell like teens, no, my mom and dad would be so mad. Blame it on me. Give them me as an excuse, whatever you need, but let's come up with your reasons beforehand. So when you're in that pressure situation, you can already have a reason like, no, my mom would kill me if I did that. I'm not gonna smoke that cigarette. We've already had a conversation about it, right? Or whatever the topic is. Any questions on those? How much longer I got in here? I don't even know. 20. Okay. If you think there's a question behind the question, go ahead and carefully try to give your emotional support. Don't close the door. Sometimes I think we feel like they ask a question, but it may not be the real question and we are trying more than we should. Just let them ask the question and they'll come back as long as we're not crying and ask the rest of the question, right? Just don't try not to cry too much because that kind of turns teens off. Recognize what you don't know. This is one of my favorite things because when I'm in a room full of parents, or you guys just tell me what scares you about talking to your kids about maybe hard topics, sexual health, healthy relationships. What's scary about it? I know.
Yeah, just like I was telling her,
Uh-huh.
I think my parents assumed that if they didn't talk about it, like you said, that I wouldn't do it.
Mhm.
I had a very steady boyfriend in high school, and I got pregnant very young, not
Yeah.
with the same guy.
Yeah.
And she was like, I thought the first time you had sex is when you were pregnant. And I was like,
Yeah.
you were very uninformed.
Yeah.
You know, because they would never have to talk about it. I mean, and so I don't know how to talk about it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing I get from parents, is they really don't know the information. So like if they say, hey, let's have this conversation, what do you think about that? And their teen says, yeah, I did, I heard about chlamydia in class, mom, and how do I get that? And you get it, what? And you're like, oh my God, can you? Like, I don't know. Like, you look dumb. You're like, oh my God, I don't even know what to tell my teens. Can you get from this holistic, right? It's okay to say, I don't know, right? Like, hey, that's a great question. And it's actually one I've never thought about. Let's look that up because I want to give you a great answer, right? I want to give you a great answer. Let's just look it up. We can look it up together, right? Amaze.org is a fantastic online resource for questions about sexual health. So this is like a teen site that does little videos about like menstrual cycle.
We're kind of wondering if you can.
From the toilet seat, you know.
Just wanted to make sure.
Me, like, I felt this, I'm like, man, no, man, like, you would be educating the youth wrong. So I think it is better rather than just giving them an answer, to just say, we'll look it up, because a lot of even, I'll be in the classroom with teachers and they're like, huh, really? They can't know what you've been doing. Like, we don't judge, right? So I love it. I think we're not educated not because we're bad parents. I think we're not educated because no one's educated us. Because nobody wants to talk about it. Because everybody's so worried that me or anybody else is going to put values and beliefs on their kids. I'm not telling your kid when to have sex. I'm telling your kid if you do have sex, you could get this, this, and this. These are the facts, right? So I think we need to keep having those conversations. It doesn't always have to be political. It can always be here are the facts.
Just wanted to have knowledge.
Yeah, right? To make that educated decision. Might they still make a decision we don't want to have? Do I think, are we missing everything? No, but at least you can say, I gave them that information. They did not get this because they were uneducated. They were educated and they still chose to do it, right? And most of the time we're gonna love them and support them hopefully either way. But think about that. Being louder and the more influential voice. Talk to your child about what media and social media portray and what your expectations are. Okay, I think that's the biggest thing. In this new program that I'm doing, I'm going to tell you all about it in a little bit, but I'm actually going to meet one-on-one with parents, and we're going to talk about what their expectations are. What are your household expectations around anything? Let's say cell phone use, because that's an easier topic. I know some families that put the app on their phone. I know some families that give them full access. I know some families that set the phone in a room after a certain time. All their cell phones go into a family room and iPads where they can't access it at a certain time. I know some that do one phone in the room and they can use it in the family room. Whatever, but what are your expectations and talk about them with your kid, right? My expectation is you can have Snapchat, but you cannot send anything indecent on it and you cannot share your location. Okay, that's my expectation. I do have an app on your phone. It will notify me if you send those things. I want you to have it. I want you to visit with your friends, right? I don't want you to feel left out. I get you want to be cool, but here are my expectations around the topic. And I'm not saying to do that. I'm saying you get to decide for your family what your expectations are.
Where my daughter's phone, I set it up where she has a time limit on her apps for the entire day because I don't want her to have too much screen
I
time.
love that.
So, which now, since they can't have phones in school, it's not, she doesn't meet that during the day now.
Program that you did, like how?
It's in her phone. I couldn't do it through, I'm sure you could do it through my phone, but I did it on her phone. And so she gets 2 hours a day on apps.
Yeah.
And that's whether it's Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. And then when that time limit hits, the only things she can access are the apps that I allow her access or Yeah, I said it right.
Yeah.
And then so she can get on her camera, she can look at photos,
that.
she can get on those, but all the social media apps close down after 2 hours. And that doesn't matter. If she uses her 2 hours in the morning, she's done for the day.
Yeah.
Like you've got 2 hours, that's it.
And as a parent, were you educated on this or how did you get to all this?
I read the book, The Anxious Generation.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
So you have to like, and that's the problem, you have to go seek out education for these things. We aren't, no, we don't know these things, right? So you have a parent that's seeking out this information and that's great. And we have some parents that don't even know about seeking information. Like nobody's told me, I didn't even know they could get that on their phone. I just didn't let them have it. And now I'm a terrible parent. No, you're not. None of us are educated, right? We're all having to go through this together and try to make the best decision. So I love that you do that. That's
So
a great
I
option.
would say for everybody in here, I would definitely recommend reading The Anxious
Yeah,
Generation.
I've never read it. I don't read a lot, but I want to read that one. The Anxious Child. Do you know who the author is?
I'll look at it.
Is it, and it's like just for like all age kids, like remember?
It's just talking about what technology is doing to our children and how it's affecting their mental health.
Yeah.
Because how hard is it to tell your kids your expectations when you don't know them?
Yeah.
Right? So think about what are my expectations? Maybe you've never thought about it. You're like, I've missed the mark. My kid is 16. It's still your kid. They are under your house. You get to decide your expectations and then you get to talk about it. Even when they're little, even if you don't have teenagers. Right? These are my expectations. Every time I have to go to the bathroom, I want you to wash your hands. Right? I mean, we probably don't say that harsh. They're like, I just don't want to do that. I'm gonna lay on the floor and cry. I have a toddler. Okay, so I'm wondering. It's hard too. Maybe not as hard as teens, but it's hard. It's okay to try again. No one always gets it right the first time. If you think about the conversation you had with your teen and you're like, they shut down. I asked them a yes or no question. They got on their phone. They didn't care. They told me they already knew about it. I failed. Well, very good, right? You did the best you could. And you have plenty of opportunities. They're your child. Keep doing that. Keep trying. You're gonna get better. They're gonna be more comfortable. That's why I told you guys about me walking in the classroom. When I walk in the classroom, they are excited to see me. They were like, Destiny, we couldn't wait to see you. That's my favorite class. I couldn't even think of my favorite class all year. Like, great. But it's because I'm building those connections and I'm building those rapport and I'm not judging them. Do you guys think I tell you my values or opinions in a classroom? No. You guys actually got more information about me than those students ever get about me. I don't tell any personal stuff. I don't tell whether I'm married. I don't tell anything. And do you think they think we're besties? Yeah, they think I'm the greatest thing ever, but it's because I'm having these conversations. I'm not judging them. I'm including them, right? We're going in open. And it's okay to have questions. I want you to have questions. And so that's the same for parents, right? I was gonna tell you if they were gonna try. I sat in front of a panel in Oklahoma City. I love youth panels because when we're talking about youth, we should always include youth. They should always be at the table. I know teenagers are hard. I love them. They are so smart. They are so innovative. I know everybody's worried about where society is going, but they're great. Teenagers are great. They've always been hard, but they're great. So I sat in front of a youth panel in Oklahoma City, which I know is a little different than here because we're rural. I'm from here. Don't worry. I'm not gonna share an Oklahoma City story because everybody's like, that's Oklahoma City. That's not Altus. I live in Altus, but I was in an Oklahoma City youth panel, and one of the teens we said, if you could give advice to us, what advice would you give us when it comes to talking about relationships, health, sexual health? They think just try. That's all I want. I want you to try. Because we were like, what if we mess up? What if we say something that's not cool? What if we say something that's not outdated? Like, are you automatically going to check out? No, we literally just want adults to try to see us, to try to hear us, to try to give us a seat at the table. Right? Maybe there's things you can work with them on. If you're going hard, this is my way on this value or this lead, maybe you can ask them like, hey, what would you like on this? Like, we're creating a cell phone agreement. What are some things you would really like? And maybe you can make some of those things happen for them, right? It can't just be about us up there. I did a vaping lecture the other day. I don't love talking about vaping. I hate to say that because it's my job. It's just not my favorite. I feel like the kids already want to do it and they just don't care about what I have to say. I don't know. I just feel that way. So I got up there and I'm like, they're all silent. I'm trying to make them participate. And I'm like, I'm sorry. It feels like I'm harping on y'all. Do you guys feel like I'm harping on y'all? And they're like, You know, they're like, yeah, shut down. They shut down because they automatically felt like I was going out this.
Right.
Thinking it's bad, it's gonna cause cancer. Why are you doing something that has ingredients you don't know? So just remember that when you're framing that to your teenager. Do we want them to get the message that vaping is bad? But do we want to like harp on them where they shut down or nag? I guess we would call it nagging. I don't even know if harping is a word, but yeah.
Just framing it as letting them, they just want to
Yeah.
acknowledge it.
Yeah, and that's basically what I say, like, hey, I'm here to make you guys have knowledge. I'm not gonna be standing out there when someone hands you that cute little ombre vape that you told me was so cute last week that has a game on it.
Right.
Oh, they're making it. up.
Outrageous, man. it's
Yeah, they
crazy.
are. And no, you youth get more talking about vaping and I say they're marketing to you.
Yep, they
Why do
are.
you think they're playing video? Adults can barely work tech. We're not trying to make with tech. I'm not for it. And then they're like, why would they do that to us?
They wanna make money,
Right.
they gotta
Because
replace
they
it.
lost money on cigarettes. And so they are and that makes youth mad. They're like, I'm like, yeah, you didn't know that, did you? Well, I knew it looked like candy. I'm like, yeah, they're flavoring it for you guys.
Marketing, yeah.
My God. So just keep in mind, just try to educate them, try to listen to their beliefs, opinions, things like that. I know this didn't give you actual factual information on STDs, on pregnancy prevention, things like that. Please know I'm a resource. I do go into the schools a lot. I can also meet with parents one-on-one for a new program called Families Talking Together, where me and you really sit down. I'm a trained interventionist in it and talk about what you're actually going through. And it gives you like a little booklet on some of those hard subjects like sexual health, things like that, that we can go through and do. If you ever want to call me and say, hey, my daughter is about to go through puberty, I don't know what to do, can you help me? Come to my office. We'll sit down and go over stuff and we can go over it before you go over it with them. Right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and teens really do like me for some reason. I don't know. I'm not that funny, but they just like me. So, no, I really do try hard to make that connection with them. I normally stay before class, play songs, try to make it a little more fun for them. But if you ever need me, I'm a resource. I do go into the school, so if you're school affiliated, please contact me. My schedules fill up pretty fast. For the semester, I book out the whole semester. But I will find a spot to get you there because I want to teach your youth. I want to be there. I want to teach parents. I want to be there for you guys. So I hope you got out of this conversation what you wanted, even though it wasn't like sexual health, learning about STDs, things like that. We can do that at a later date. I'm more than happy. These are two little conversation guides that go a little deeper for preteens and teens. It actually talks about like talking to them about how to protect themselves and some things you can say. Remember, if you're not comfortable saying this, don't be like, I can't believe she told me to say that. It's your values and your beliefs. You get to decide what to say. I'm just giving you some reference guides. And then if you are in the school, I'm sure most of you have seen this, but this is TSET, the tobacco program. You can scan this. They'll send you free pens, pencils. The kids like them, like little, like education for vaping and things like that. Any questions for me? So I know that first topic or the first activity was a little heavy. Feel free, if your parents said negative things to you and you picked up some negative things, tear those up. You don't have to keep thinking about them. You don't have to take them with you. You don't have to say that to your kids, right? Just make a mental note that I don't want to say that. If you grow up that I'm proud of you, take it with you. Remember that. Remember the impact our parents had on us, or guardians, or whoever we live with. Okay, no questions for me?
The author for that book is Jonathan, I don't know how to say the last name, Haidt.
What's that?
The Anxious Generation.
The what?
Anxious Generation.
Okay. That's what I hate for parents is we have to like do all this work. Like even as a toddler parent, like I do my book.
Well, this is actually a book from college that I read in one of our classes.
That I'm bad idea.
And with the anxiety.
Okay, do I have any other questions for me? So those little tabs are yours. Tear up the ones that made you uncomfortable. Keep the ones that made you proud. Conversation tips for yours. Please do your evaluation. And turn that in to Amanda back there for me. That really helped me. You can put that I talked too fast if you want. Yeah. You did. You finished everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Like,
That's great.
did you get these back to I bet. You can have both of the flyers. No, not to us, because I'm pretty sure. Thank you. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Because my daughter is 18, but in my eyes, she's still.
I know. Yeah.
It's all-
Thank
Thank you so much.
Take the purple pen, take the topic, take the card, leave the evaluation. My business card and number.
You know, so it's like kids kind of dying, but on the outside, I'm like,
Yeah.
maintain your composure.
Yeah.
Kara.
Yeah. I don't know how I would have handled that either if they walked up to me. I'd be like,
Like that's like internal.
Yeah, and I talked to him about it, because my thing is.
Yeah.
About it before you get in the situation, because you're. I don't wanna be on the same.
It is what
thing,
it is.
you know? I was like. You know what I'm saying, so. And after.
But just like, well,
You also have to be.
So,
It's like, you think yourself.
I just got.
I wonder how many.
So.
I wonder if she's emailed me.
Yeah, cause it should, it said it should high school. I mean, I can't see.
Yeah. It's up to the networking.
yes,
We have the listening session and then, the networking. So- Yes, so please go to the listening session and the networking event.
It's pretty new. It's my first.
Yes. You're welcome. It's my work email.
I got you. Sweet.
So there's a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, text you about it, cause I'm working. And it's not.
They want soon. But here tomorrow, I really need it again, but already done.
Thank you.
What it is, you're gonna have to go to register.
Yeah.
By your bank.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Once you start on October. Or October 20th, but that's fine.
Oh, good.
I am doing.
Yeah, that's what I heard. The worst case.
I'm getting.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do good. And I want you to win.
They come into.
Yes, y'all really need to have this place. You need to too. Yeah.
You are welcome.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
Oh, and
Yeah, thank you. Bye. Y'all just kept coming back.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see y'all soon.
No, I'm gonna start doing, pre-support group in the schools.
Oh, that's so good.
They're actually.
It's something you're so passionate
Well,
about.
I really am. So they.
Cause I was just telling people when, you know, if you heard it from me,
I just always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So.
I love it.
So.
Yeah,
I just started another. Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh,
I'm
you
sure
know,
that's not
no,
talking about my values.
Yes.
And
No.
things
And
like
they are,
that.
they are very, but this is.
I should have gotten her to take my business card.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll give it to both of you. You're gonna probably, are you gonna be here tomorrow?
Yeah, and I may see her tomorrow.
Next year tomorrow, but if I see her first, I'll give it to her.
Yeah, and if you give it to her and I give it to her, I'll be like, we just really wanted you to have my name.
Because she's her first year in council. She's super,
Yeah,
like,
good.
wanting to get.
So maybe she'll let me come do something, even if it's parent education, not with the kids, I could
Yeah.
come do it.
Guaranteed I tell you that.
All right.
I'll
And
see
if
you
you
later.
have any suggestions for me on my presentation, you're more than welcome to just let me know, email me, things to add, I'm always looking to improve. I couldn't add too much, this was communications approved, in here.
This is the only thing that I would suggest,
Uh-huh,
because you know you talk fast.
slow down.
No,
Oh.
no, No, that's you.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you know that.
Oh, yeah.
But the way to make sure you, have the time, go through the time,
Uh-huh,
open it up for, comments.
okay, Yeah.
What is your experience?
yeah, I love
You
that,
know, and so that way,
yeah.
you don't have to slow down what you're doing, but your
They can
your
hear more.
participant,
Mhm.
they will participate,
Yeah,
and then they will be able to hear others, and then that'll also give you an opportunity to reiterate something.
yeah, I love that.
That will
Thank
be
you.
my,
I
only thing.
love suggestions.
See, because this is the deal for me. I'm me.
Uh-huh,
So why should I change?
yeah,
I'm not saying that you're a good presenter or a bad presenter or
Yeah.
anything like that, but that's
uh-huh.
me.
Yeah, so I do, this is my first time doing parent presentation. I mostly work with adolescents and ours is always like, is evidence-based.
Mhm.
So I have like 30 minutes, get 45 minutes, and so I don't allow a lot of like, which I know sounds terrible. We do activities where they get up and moving,
Yeah.
but that's a good suggestion for adults because they want to give their, you know?
They want to, just like, I mean, and think about it, now we have a whole nother resource
Yeah,
that had we not talked.
that I
we
wouldn't
wouldn't
have known.
Right.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
so that's what I would suggest. No, and even if you're saying, okay, hey, I'll talk fast, that's fine, leave it at that. You don't
Yeah.
even have to make that comment.
Yeah.
Because the reality of it is, that's who you are.
I know. I really can't slow down too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I try.
Why?
I like it. Yeah. Some people say they can't keep up. Like I've had that a lot on evaluation, saying like their brain can't even go that fast. Like they check out because it's just like too much.
So this is what I would, on that,